Have you ever wondered how Christianity came to be the dominant religion of the Western world? Most people believe it emerged naturally from the teachings of Jesus and his disciples. But what if I told you there's a theory that suggests Christianity was a carefully crafted tool of political control, designed by the Flavian dynasty, the rulers of Rome in the 1st century? In this video, we'll explore the controversial idea that the Roman Empire, specifically the Flavian emperors, played a direct role in shaping Christianity as a way to pacify Jewish resistance and maintain control. Stick around as we uncover this fascinating historical conspiracy. The Flavian dynasty, which ruled Rome from 69 to 96 AD, consisted of Emperor Vespasian and his sons, Titus and Domitian. Their rise to power was deeply connected to the Jewish-Roman War of 66 to 73 AD, a brutal conflict between the Jews and the Roman Empire. Before Vespasian became emperor, he was a general tasked with crushing the Jewish revolt in Judea. His son, Titus, later completed the mission by destroying the Second Temple in 70 AD, an event that significantly altered Jewish history. The Jewish rebellion was driven by messianic fervor, a belief that a prophesied savior would lead the Jews to victory against their oppressors. To the Romans, this religious zeal made the Jewish population difficult to govern. The Flavians realized that to maintain control, they needed to subdue this messianic movement. This set the stage for a radical idea: if they couldn't destroy Jewish religious hope, they could reshape it into something more manageable. One of the most provocative claims surrounding the Flavian connection to Christianity is that they engineered a new, peaceful Messiah figure, Jesus Christ. Some researchers argue that Jesus' message of turning the other cheek, loving one's enemies, and obeying earthly rulers aligned suspiciously well with Roman interests. Instead of a militant Messiah who would fight against Rome, this Jesus preached submission and obedience, effectively neutralizing rebellious Jewish factions. This theory is strongly associated with scholar Joseph Atwill, who in his book Caesar's Messiah proposes that the New Testament was crafted as Roman propaganda. He points to striking parallels between the military campaigns of Titus and the narrative of Jesus' ministry in the Gospels. Atwill argues that key Gospel events, including Jesus' prophecies of Jerusalem's destruction, mirror events in Titus' campaign, suggesting that the Gospels were written after the war as a way to retroactively frame Titus as a divine figure. A central figure in this theory is Flavius Josephus, a Jewish historian who defected to the Roman side during the war and became a close associate of the Flavian emperors. Josephus wrote extensively about the Jewish-Roman conflict and was one of the first to document Jesus Christ outside of Christian texts. His writings contain passages that seem to confirm Jesus' existence, yet many scholars suspect these references were later additions or fabrications. What makes Josephus particularly interesting is that his works align closely with the themes found in the New Testament. Some theorists believe he played a direct role in crafting the Gospels or at least provided inspiration for their narrative structure. His accounts of Jewish history conveniently support the idea that Jewish resistance was futile, reinforcing the idea that submission to Rome was the only logical choice. Whether or not the Flavians were directly responsible for inventing Christianity, their influence on early Christian doctrine is undeniable. The earliest Christian texts emphasize obedience to earthly rulers, which aligns with Roman imperial policy. Consider passages like Romans 13 verses 1-7, where Paul explicitly tells followers to submit to governing authorities because they are instituted by God. Many early Christian leaders also had connections to Rome. Paul, for example, was a Roman citizen who traveled extensively throughout the empire, spreading a version of Christianity that was palatable to Roman officials. Over time, Christianity evolved into a religion that supported imperial stability rather than rebellion. By the time Emperor Constantine officially embraced Christianity in the 4th century, it had already been transformed into a system that reinforced Roman governance rather than challenging it. If the Flavian emperors truly played a role in shaping Christianity, their influence echoes through history in profound ways. The transformation of a militant Jewish messianic movement into a peaceful, Rome-friendly religion changed the course of Western civilization. Christianity spread across the empire and beyond, becoming the dominant faith of Europe and later, much of the world. Even today, many of the teachings attributed to Jesus promote values that align with maintaining social order and discouraging rebellion. While faith is a deeply personal experience, understanding its historical origins can provide insight into how power structures shape belief systems. Whether you believe in divine inspiration or political manipulation, one thing is clear: the rise of Christianity was no accident. It was deeply intertwined with the interests of one of history's most powerful empires. To understand why the Flavians may have wanted to control religious movements, we need to examine the political climate of first-century Rome. The empire had just come out of the chaos of the Year of the Four Emperors, 69 AD, a period of civil war that left the Flavian dynasty in power. Stability was their top priority. The Jewish population, especially in Judea, was a persistent source of rebellion. Their refusal to worship the Roman emperor as a god and their hope for a military messiah made them a direct threat. From the Roman perspective, reshaping Jewish beliefs to favor nonviolence and submission was not just beneficial, it was necessary. While Christianity eventually gained favor in Rome, the early years were marked by persecution, especially under Emperor Domitian. He was the last ruler of the Flavian dynasty and took a more authoritarian approach to governing. Some scholars believe he played a role in solidifying Christianity's doctrine, particularly in its separation from Judaism. By persecuting Christians who refused to worship the emperor, Domitian unintentionally gave them a stronger identity. This period saw the rise of martyrdom as a core aspect of Christian belief, reinforcing the idea that suffering under Rome's rule was noble, a narrative that ultimately worked in favor of imperial control. The Gospels, written decades after Jesus' supposed death, contain messages that align closely with Roman governance. Consider Jesus' famous words: "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's and unto God what is God's." This statement encourages obedience to Roman taxation and law, discouraging rebellion. The Gospel writers also depict the Jewish leaders, rather than the Romans, as the main villains in Jesus' crucifixion, subtly shifting blame away from Rome. Many Christian teachings resemble the ideas found in Stoicism, a popular Greco-Roman philosophy at the time. Stoicism emphasized self-control, acceptance of fate, and duty to society, values that align with the Roman worldview. Christianity's emphasis on humility, patience, and suffering also mirrors the Stoic belief in enduring hardships without complaint. This philosophical influence suggests that Christianity was designed, or at least adapted, to fit within Roman ideals. Paul of Tarsus, one of the most influential figures in early Christianity, was a Roman citizen who traveled freely across the empire spreading Jesus' message. His letters form the foundation of Christian doctrine, yet they contain little direct reference to Jesus' life. Some theorists believe Paul was an agent of Rome, creating a version of Christianity that was acceptable to Roman authorities. His emphasis on obedience, faith over works, and the separation of church and state helped shape a religion that supported imperial stability. Before Christianity, there were several Jewish sects that expected a warrior Messiah to free them from Rome. Groups like the Zealots and Sicarii actively fought against the empire. After Rome crushed the Jewish revolt, these militant messianic movements disappeared, while Christianity, a faith centered on a peaceful Messiah, began to rise. This shift raises the question: was Christianity promoted to replace dangerous revolutionary groups with a more submissive alternative? The Gospel of Mark, widely considered the earliest of the Gospels, contains events that some scholars believe mirror Titus' military campaign. Atwill argues that Jesus' movements in the Gospel closely follow the path of Roman conquests in Judea. If true, this would suggest that the Gospels were not only influenced by Rome but written to subtly glorify its victories, framing them as divine fulfillment. In Jewish prophecy, the Son of Man was a figure who would bring divine justice. However, in Christianity, this title is applied to Jesus in a way that emphasizes submission rather than revolution. Some argue this reinterpretation was intentional, designed to pacify Jewish expectations of a militant Messiah and replace them with a heavenly, passive one. Eusebius, a 4th-century historian under Emperor Constantine, played a crucial role in shaping Christian history. His works promoted the idea that Rome and Christianity were divinely connected. By framing Constantine as a God-chosen leader, Eusebius helped cement Christianity as the empire's official faith. This move solidified the idea that Christianity and Roman rule were not enemies, but partners. When Constantine legalized Christianity, he also sought to standardize its teachings. The Council of Nicaea, 325 AD, established core doctrines, such as the divinity of Jesus, creating a unified version of Christianity that served the empire's interests. This formalization ensured that Christianity remained structured, hierarchical, and aligned with Roman power. Early Christianity was diverse, with groups like the Gnostics holding radically different beliefs. Many of these sects rejected the authority of the Roman Church. Over time, the Roman-backed version of Christianity became dominant, and alternative interpretations were labeled heretical. This suppression further supports the idea that Christianity was molded to serve Rome. The early followers of Jesus were primarily Jewish, yet Christianity quickly became a predominantly Gentile religion. This shift suggests an intentional effort to distance the new faith from its Jewish roots. By appealing to non-Jews, Christianity expanded rapidly, aligning itself with Roman culture rather than remaining a sect of Judaism. The Roman Empire's roads, trade routes, and communication networks allowed Christianity to spread far beyond Judea. This rapid expansion was unlikely to have occurred without some level of Roman tolerance or support. The organized structure of the Roman Church mirrored that of the empire itself, reinforcing the idea that Christianity was built to function within Roman society. Even after the fall of the Roman Empire, the version of Christianity shaped by the Flavians endured. The Catholic Church adopted Roman administrative structures, legal systems, and even titles like Pontifex Maximus for the Pope, a title previously held by Roman emperors. This continuity suggests that Christianity, far from being an underground movement, was deeply intertwined with Roman governance from the beginning. So, was Christianity truly a divine revelation, or was it a strategic invention by the Flavians to control the masses? While mainstream historians reject the idea of a Roman-created Jesus, the overwhelming influence of Rome on Christianity cannot be denied. By transforming a militant Jewish movement into a faith of peace and submission, the Flavians may have ensured their empire's stability for centuries. Whether this was by design or coincidence, the relationship between Christianity and Rome remains one of history's most intriguing mysteries. While the Flavian rulers were crushing the Jewish revolt, they also maintained strategic relationships with certain Jewish elites who were willing to cooperate. This included individuals like Flavius Josephus, who was once a Jewish commander but later defected to the Roman side. By working with influential Jewish figures, the Flavians may have helped shape a version of Judaism that was less rebellious, one that evolved into early Christianity. Josephus, in particular, played a role in framing Jewish history in a way that aligned with Roman authority. Most of the New Testament aligns with Roman interests, but the Book of Revelation seems different. It describes Rome as the beast and predicts its downfall, which seems to contradict the theory that Christianity was created by the Flavians. However, some scholars suggest that Revelation was written by a different group of early Christians who rejected Roman rule. Its apocalyptic imagery may have been aimed at Domitian, who was known for persecuting Christians. If so, this book represents a counter-narrative to the Flavian version of Christianity. Despite Jesus being a significant historical figure, there is little direct evidence of him in Roman records. The Romans were meticulous record keepers, yet they do not mention his trial, crucifixion, or followers in any official documents from the time of his supposed execution. This absence has led some to speculate that Jesus was a later literary creation, possibly modeled after earlier religious figures and adapted to fit the needs of the Roman Empire. The Gospel of Luke emphasizes themes of social order, obedience, and peace, values that align closely with Roman governance. It presents Jesus as a law-abiding citizen who respects Roman authority and encourages his followers to do the same. Luke also portrays the Roman officials, such as Pontius Pilate, in a relatively positive light, while placing more blame on Jewish leaders. This narrative shift suggests an attempt to make Christianity more acceptable to Roman audiences. Many aspects of Jesus' story, his virgin birth, resurrection, and divine sonship, have parallels in earlier pagan religions. Figures like Mithras, Osiris, and Dionysus share striking similarities with the Jesus narrative. Some historians argue that these similarities indicate that Christianity was not a unique revelation but a repackaging of older religious themes. If the Flavians played a role in shaping Christianity, they may have borrowed elements from popular mystery religions to make it more appealing to Roman citizens. Although Hadrian ruled after the Flavian dynasty, his policies continued to shape the development of Christianity. After the Bar Kokhba revolt, 132 to 136 AD, Hadrian banned Jewish practices and further pushed the separation between Judaism and Christianity. This separation ensured that Christianity would evolve as a distinct, Rome-friendly religion rather than remaining a sect of Judaism. By the time of Hadrian, Christianity had already begun taking on a more universal, non-Jewish identity. The structure of the early church closely mirrored Roman legal and administrative systems. The hierarchical leadership of bishops, priests, and deacons resembled Roman government positions, and many church laws were modeled after Roman legal principles. This structured approach helped Christianity integrate smoothly into Roman society, further suggesting that it was shaped to function within the empire rather than oppose it. While the early Christian texts were written in Greek, Latin quickly became the dominant language of the Church as it aligned itself with Rome. By adopting Latin, Christianity cemented itself as the official faith of the empire. The use of Latin also allowed the Church to control doctrine more effectively, ensuring that theological debates were managed by Rome rather than by diverse, independent groups. As Christianity spread, many pagan temples were repurposed into Christian churches. This transition was not accidental, it was a deliberate strategy to replace existing religious traditions with Christian ones while maintaining familiar places of worship. This tactic helped convert large portions of the population without requiring them to abandon their cultural and architectural heritage. Many Christian holidays, such as Christmas and Easter, coincide with earlier pagan festivals. Christmas, for example, is celebrated near the winter solstice, a time that was traditionally associated with the Roman festival of Saturnalia. By incorporating existing traditions into Christianity, the Church made conversion easier and more acceptable to the Roman populace. The Essenes, a Jewish sect that lived in isolation and followed strict religious rules, shared similarities with early Christian communities. Some theories suggest that the Essenes influenced Christian beliefs or that Christianity emerged as a rebranded version of their teachings. If the Flavians sought to eliminate Jewish resistance, they may have encouraged the adoption of Essene-like practices into Christianity as a way to control religious movements. Monastic communities became important centers of Christian learning and discipline. These communities promoted obedience, celibacy, and strict adherence to doctrine, qualities that reinforced social stability and control. By encouraging monasticism, the Roman Church ensured that religious leaders remained loyal to the empire's version of Christianity. The process of selecting which books would be included in the Bible took centuries. Some texts, like the Gospel of Thomas and other Gnostic writings, were excluded because they contained ideas that challenged the authority of the Roman Church. The final version of the Bible reflected a Christianity that aligned with Roman values and political interests. Many Christian saints were given attributes that mirrored earlier Roman heroes and gods. This made Christianity more appealing to a Roman audience by maintaining continuity with their existing belief systems. By transforming local deities into saints, the Church made conversion smoother while retaining cultural elements that people were already familiar with. After Constantine, his successors continued to shape Christianity into the state religion of Rome. Theodosius I, in particular, made Christianity the empire's official religion and banned pagan practices altogether. This move solidified the idea that Christianity and Roman governance were inseparable. Even after the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the Church carried on Rome's legacy. The Pope became the spiritual equivalent of the Emperor, ensuring that Rome's influence remained strong through Christianity. This continuity suggests that Christianity was not just a faith but an institutional tool that extended the empire's reach long after its collapse. After Rome fell, Christian missionaries spread the faith to the Germanic and Celtic tribes. These conversions helped unify Europe under a religious framework that originated from the empire, ensuring Rome's ideological survival. The spread of Christianity laid the foundation for the medieval church's power over European rulers. Whether or not the Flavians directly created Christianity, their influence on its development is undeniable. The transformation of a Jewish resistance movement into a religion of peace and obedience benefited Rome immensely. Even today, Christianity retains elements of its Roman origins, from its hierarchical structure to its incorporation of earlier traditions. Understanding this history allows us to see religion not just as a matter of faith, but as a tool of political and social influence.
Welcome to Blessovia Science TV, where we take you on an exhilarating journey through the cosmos and unravel the mysteries of science. We are excited to offer you the opportunity to become a valued member of our ever-growing community of cosmic enthusiasts and knowledge seekers. Exclusive access to cosmic content. As a member of Blessovia Science TV, you will gain exclusive access to a treasure trove of cosmic content, including documentaries, interviews with leading scientists, space missions updates, and awe-inspiring visualizations of the universe, live Q, and sessions with experts. Your membership will grant you the chance to participate in live Q and sessions with renowned scientists, astronomers, and space explorers. Get your burning questions answered by those who push the boundaries of human knowledge. Embark on a journey that spans the cosmos and join us in unraveling the secrets of the universe. Become a Blessovia Science TV member today, and together we will reach for the stars. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget to leave your comment.